Hi, good afternoon. An extra show for you. It's the John Gaunt podcast. Can we just all stop calling everybody else a Nazi, especially if we're MPs? I know I'm guilty of it in the past. Hands up. But this whole nonsense today that Reform UK's new badge is somehow resembling Nazi Germany, you see them behind me, is absolutely pathetic. It's a new low. I want to talk about that, but I also want to widen this out. I'm going to talk about Nathan Gill. Yes, I know him. I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about Nigel Farage. Yes, I am. I'm going to talk about snivelling little shits like Ed Davey, the leader of the Lib Dems, who suddenly wants to find out and have an inquiry into reform. Maybe we should have an inquiry into you and why you didn't get on with the post office scandal quicker, Mr. Davey. Or when that fat, gross, obese bastard Cyril Smith was a paedophile, why didn't you or your leader, David Steele, do more to expose him? Everybody's got a skeleton in the cupboard. Let's be frank. But this is politics of the gutter. It's politics of the playground. Are you with me or against me? Comment in the comment box. Don't hang about, though, because this is going to be a quick extra show. If you want to comment, I'll take them now. I'm going to say what everybody else is really scared to say. British UK politics is now more of a circus than ever. Not only that, there's no ringmaster. It's the clowns who are running the show. When a Tory MP starts screaming like a little girl, Nazi, Nazi, because of a gold badge on a football shirt, we know we've hit rock bottom. And while that nonsense is going on, suddenly everybody is digging up alleged comments by Nigel Farage, supposedly made when he was 13. The Guardian newspaper is almost orgasmic. They think they've got a scoop. It's nothing of the sort. If you put down what I thought at 13, I'd be up on a charge as well. It's just garbage. He was a kid. But that's how desperate they've become, and that's how scared mainstream politicians are of Reform UK. Let's face it, we've got a lame duck Prime Minister in Starmer. He's over. Kemi Badenoch can't get her act together. Farage is going to be the next Prime Minister, and the liberal lefties hate it. And then, if all this wasn't enough, they're even trying to drag Farage, and I say some of this is definitely bordering on defamation, into the Nathan Gill situation. Now, that's a bit of a stretch, and it's a total political stitch-up job. Unless they've got evidence, they should shut up. I've met Nathan Gill. I never knew he was up to that. He's quite a charming bloke. Maybe that's how he got away with it. But he's a traitor. What he did was treasonous, and he deserves everything he's got. He's a piece of scum. I didn't know that at the time, did I? So, look, pull up a chair, because today I'm going to rip the lid off this whole pathetic smear campaign. If you want to comment, you know what to do. You just put it in the comment box, and I'll come to those as soon as I can. Reshare the feed if you can. Retweet it. Link it out on Facebook. Let's have your views on all of this, please. I am John Gaunt. It is the John Gaunt podcast, available on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter or X. Let's start off, though, with the party chairman, the Conservative Party chairman, Kevin Hollinrake. He sees the gold Reform UK badge behind me on a football shirt, and his big political insight, Robin Day he isn't, is that looks Nazi to me. I mean, come on, is this bloke serious? Like I say in my little photo today, spot the difference. It looks nothing like a Nazi badge. And is gold now illegal? Is yellow fascist? Do we need a colour chart, like a Dulux colour chart when you're buying paint? to get through modern politics? No, it's all cobblers. It's absolutely rubbish. Got nothing to do with Nazis. And do you think Farage would be that stupid to do that? Oh, and maybe he's also upset because it's on a black shirt. You know, they've had all those other shirts made, and they've sold about 10,000 of them. They've now done one in black as a fashion accessory. But it's black, Kevin. It doesn't mean black shirt. It is a black shirt, you fucking genius. But it doesn't mean what you're trying to make it mean. Instead of slagging Farage and Reform, why don't you get some policies, big boy? Why don't you actually have something positive to say? And while I'm at it, Hollinrake, why don't you get a spine? You put up this disgusting tweet basically calling everybody who supports Reform a Nazi or a fascist. Farage has a go at you and you take it down. But then it gets worse because then the spineless amoeba put it back up again. Everything that you need to know about mainstream politics encapsulated in this little soap opera scene. So, Kevin Hollinrake, Mr. Chairman, here's the question. Do you genuinely believe or Reform supporters are Nazis? Because if you don't, you shouldn't be tweeting it. If you do, well, I think it's a case of matron medication time. It's just a joke. And then add on top of this, out of nowhere resurfaces the stories of Farage being a goose-stepping Nazi or something when he was 13. The media, well, it's not really the media, is it? It's the Guardian, hardly a newspaper, more like a charity basket case. They've started digging up alleged comments Nigel Farage supposedly made when he was 13 years old. Yeah, just let that sink in. I know we've talked about it before. 13. Are you kidding me? Is your master political strategy, Guardian newspaper? Let's dig into what someone allegedly said when they were 13. The Guardian has lost the plot. So, well, Ed Davey never had the plot, and indeed the argument. And I see the BBC are getting involved. Well, the BBC are doing it to distract from their little problems they've got with the licence fee. By the way, I'll be talking about the BBC in my show at 6:30. Tune in again. All of this is embarrassing. It's desperate. And it insults the intelligence of every single voter, you and I. And that's what makes me absolutely puke. Who do these politicians think they are? Ed Davey, the jerk who's on a roller coaster more than is in the Commons, giving us lectures. The man who didn't get on and sort out the post office scandal, he's now calling all and said, well, see, that's the other thing. They don't actually say fascist or Nazi. They skirt around it in this childish way. That Femi, have you seen him? He used to be the one who was anti-Brexit. He's now anti-Farage, anti-everything. Huh? What's he do for a living? Who funds him? And then, of course, they've been given some manna from heaven. The Nathan Gill case. Let me be very clear. Nathan Gill is responsible for Nathan Gill. End of. Absolutely end of. And I know him. I've interviewed him. I think I've had a drink with him. But this hasn't stopped some people trying to twist this into, well, what about Farage? He made speeches like this. Maybe this reflects on Reform. Oh, Farage got paid by Russia Today loads of times. Well, let me tell you something. So did I. I worked for Sputnik. I went on Russia Today. Oh, let me tell you who else did. Ken Livingstone, Boris Johnson, Liz Kershaw. I've got a whole list. It was a legitimate TV station based in the same building as I think the Westminster studios are now for GB News. They weren't a prescribed organisation. Lots of people went on it. And actually, when I worked for them, Not once did they tell me what to say. It was the same story when I was on The Sun. Everyone said, oh, you're working for Murdoch. He must tell you exactly what to say. It's such a childish accusation. And I can only talk from my experience. And I'm saying I enjoyed my time working on Russia Today and then on their radio version internet station called Sputnik. The people I worked with were very, very professional. And I've interviewed Nathan Gill and I've met him. I didn't know he was a traitor. What is this all about? And don't get me wrong. Gill is responsible for Gill. He's got his sentence. He must now serve his time. It was treason, if you want to call it that. I haven't got a problem. I'm not going to have an argument about it. But don't now try and have cheap digs at me. Because what's happening with Farage, they've taken a scandal and they've attached it to someone popular, Nigel, and they're just hoping that the mud sticks. Well, guess what? It won't. People have wised up. Voters aren't stupid. So why is it all kicking off now? That's what you want to know. Why would someone call a badge Nazi? Why would people be digging up teenage stories? Why would they link Farage to unrelated scandals apart from they were in the same party? Why aren't Labour, Keir Starmer, let's talk about Keir Starmer. Why isn't he talking about the Chinese influence in the Labour Party? Why isn't he talking about GB favourite Barry Gardner? Used to be MP for Brent. I'll leave it there. You have a look at it on Google. Why aren't they talking about Nick Brown? Where is that fat, obese piece of filth? Has that been silenced? I don't know. But all they do is scream hysterically on social media. So, we're in an election season. The Tories are finished. Labour are as dull as dishwater. They'd only get 14 seats, they reckon. Oh, no, I think that's the Tories. Labour are finished. This budget, which has had more leaks than a Max Boyce or reunion concert, it's going to be a flop on Wednesday. I don't even want to talk about it. I can't believe the news agenda's dominated about it. Let's face it, she's fucked up and she's going to fuck up even more this week. Excuse my language. But meanwhile, Reform are like this. They are surging. And Nigel Farage is pulling crowds that Kemi Badenoch and the Conservatives could only dream of. So, instead of fixing the country, instead of admitting their failure, and perhaps saying sorry, Labour and the Tories, they're going for character assassination and the character assassination playbook. It's smear, distract, panic, repeat. Are you with me? Smear, distract, panic, and repeat. Now, in all seriousness, this is dangerous for democracy because when every opponent is a Nazi, when every disagreement is fascism, when every scandal magically gets tied to the same person, you stop talking to voters and you start talking at them. And that's why, or one of the reasons why, the Tories and Labour are so unpopular. People want change and they want it now. People want things done about the flip-flop invaders. Who's offering that? Nigel Farage. That's why people are walking away from the old uni parties. They're tired of being insulted. They're tired of being smeared. And they're tired mostly of being treated like flipping idiots. So, here's the truth. A gold badge is not Nazi and never can be. You get a gold badge for swimming. You get a gold badge at the school fete. Does that make you a Nazi? Alleged teenage comments are not politics and shouldn't be part of political discourse. Oh, well, if he felt like this when he was 13 or 18, does he still think it? Is he goose-stepping into the Commons? It's just rubbish. And trying to dump the Nathan Gill scandal, the treason, onto Farage, well, it's laughable, but it's also serious. It isn't journalism. It isn't debate. It's political panic. Let me tell you, Labour are in a tailspin They know it's over. They're all plotting against Starmer, but there isn't one person in that party who'll make a blind bit of difference to them. They are as dead as the parrot in a Monty Python sketch. And as for the Conservatives, they've been dead forever. So if you're fed up with this childish nonsense, please hit the like, please write a comment, and please subscribe. Are the Tories finished? Are Labour? Because looking at it from now, from my position, it looks like desperation is all the uni party has got left. Is that fair? Or have I gone over the top? Feel free to say whatever you fancy. This is the John Gaunt Show. Now, that was 15 minutes. I was only going to do 30 minutes in total. So get your comments in now if you want to make a point. Lots of people pressing the like button. If you've never heard of me before, you never seen me, check me out on John Gaunt TV on YouTube. I'm the guy who says it as it is. You'll get pale imitations of this show over the next few days. But if you want the genuine article, go to YouTube and subscribe to John Gaunt TV. It's free. You'll also get the archive of all my videos there, completely free. And if you do want to donate a bit of cash, just click the little $sign on the screen and send me a few quid in any denomination, even in a brown. No, I'm not Nathan Gill. Not in a brown envelope. Please send it via there or go to www.buymeacoffee.com/John Gaunt. Laura says, I'm with Reform UK. This country deserves change. Deport all these illegal immigrants and deport all these refugees, says Laura. Two different things, Laura. I'm with you on the illegals. Every single one of them should be deported. They've broken the law to get into the country. Genuine refugees, I'm sure you didn't mean to say it like that, Laura. We've always taken in genuine refugees, and we should continue to do so. It's what makes us the great democracy that we are. But don't mix up genuine refugees with the flip-flop warriors who are filling all these migrant hotels. They're completely different. But the politicians want you to be confused because then they can carry on with their nonsense. It's time to deport. I agree with you. Let's move on. Denise Deacon, how about the Olympic gold medal? Is that a Nazi badge as well? Well, it would be if Nigel Farage won it or anyone in Reform. This is why it's all just absolute nonsense. But the thing is, Kevin Hollinrake, no mark, chairman of the Conservative Party, he says this, and before you know it, it becomes the parlance of the day. That's why it's got to be called out. Look at the badge, Denise, behind me now. Just look at the badge. That's the Nazi badge and the Reform one. They look nothing like each other. They're just a gold badge. And what does gold normally symbolise? The best, the first. So what Reform are saying is, you were the first people to join. You're a superstar. You're on our quest. We're going to change the world. Well, change Britain. Not saying we're going to annex Poland and we're going to kill everybody who's not got the same colour skin. It's just nonsense. Just nonsense. But it has to be called out. Craig says, hi, John, totally agree with you about this. I hope you and your family are well. If you don't get any comments, it will be because I'm in hospital. I found out I've got a brain tumour. Yeah, I know you told me that, and I feel for you. I did reply to you, Craig. I wish you the best of luck. And the best of luck to your family as well. You look after yourself. June Turner, on YouTube says the real fascists are the globalist left who have imposed mass immigration on the UK and destroyed our identity. I can't argue with you, June. I can't argue with it. Immigration, I don't know about you, June. I haven't got a problem with it. Well-controlled, managed immigration, fine. It's made our country better. But what we've had ever since Blair opened the doors to the Polish plumbers, it's been uncontrolled. And under Starmer and under Boris Johnson, it's just got worse. They don't know who's in the dinghy. That's the bit that annoys me. Did you see that the Afghani who was accused of raping a 12-year-old girl in Nuneaton, my dad's hometown? Oh, well, no, it's not his hometown. It's where he lived for the 20, 30 years of his life. Raped a girl in broad daylight, right? Orally and vaginally. Well, now he's coughed for it. Now he said, yeah, I did do it. but he hasn't confessed to all of it, but he basically has admitted to rape, changed his plea, hoping to get an easier sentence, and no doubt he will. Or if he gets put in prison, he'll be released by these pricks who run our government and the prison service. He should be swinging from a lamppost if I had my time. What do you reckon? Are you with me or against me? But there are people who have come here, both refugees and the well-controlled, managed immigration, when we asked people to come, whether it was from the West Indies or whether it was from Ireland or wherever, they've contributed. Don't mix the two up. The government want you to mix the two up, so then they can say you're a far-right, racist, fascist, whatever, and they can just carry on spending your money. But if you say, no, I'm not talking about genuine asylum seekers, and let's face it, the ones in the boats, shall we hazard a guess, 95% are not genuine. They're economic migrants. Well, we can't take them in. There's a queue. Get to the back of it and apply in the correct way. Mark Devon, Facebook. As far as the majority UK population are concerned, there's only one subject, and it must be coming up to 40 Reform Party councillors and members have been sacked for talking about that one subject. Well, hey, Mark, here's a suggestion, big boy. Don't talk in cryptic clues. What are you trying to say? Just say it, and I'll tell you whether I agree or not. I think I know what you're saying, but I'm not going to play guesswork with you. I'm too busy. Send another one. Who's this from? Who are you going to call? Nigel Farage did occasional guest interviews with RT. I have the list. Did you not hear what I said at the beginning of the show? He didn't just do occasional guest interviews. He did loads. Loads. So did I. So did Ken Livingstone. So did Boris Johnson. So did the late Alex Salmon. It was a legitimate TV station. What are you trying to say? Who are you going to call? What are you going to say? Who are you saying? What are you saying? Guilt by association. That's a very dangerous road to go down, if you don't mind me saying. Emma Louise Bauer. Hello, John. You're early today. Yeah, well, I'm early because I'm wound up, Emma. So I'm doing one now, but I'll be back at 6:30 as I'm going to slag the BBC like it's going out of fashion. Let me tell you. By the way, if you like the show, please feel free to give us a little donation. No one's done it so far. Click the little $sign and send whatever you can afford. This isn't funded by a license fee. You don't go to prison if you watch it and you don't pay. But come on, help out independent broadcasting. Thank you. Yo, good afternoon, John, says Stuart. Hello, hi. Peter 2704 goes, Nick Brown, ... and then an emoji of somebody going, Yes, precisely, Peter. They've got skeletons in their cupboard as well. And like I say, with the Lib Dems, let's talk about them. Big, fat, obese Cyril, paedophile, involved in Rochdale. I hate this hypocrisy. Got something caught in my mouth. Sorry about that. It's gone. Right, let's move on. I'm all for change, says Tony1298. The government's gone past, have stripped back from the funding in our services. I fear Farage will be the vulture that strips the last bit of meat off the carcass of the country. Oh, Tony, you're so poetic. What do you think the rest of them are doing? How about giving somebody a chance, a different approach? It's up to you, Tony. We can agree to disagree. It's fine by me. Nigel Farage, who are you going to call? He's on again. Look, Nigel Farage, RT guest slots 2014. Sputnik, which is part of RT. It technically wasn't, but I take on board what you're saying. Guest interview on EU sovereignty and immigration 2015. What are you trying to say? What are you trying to say? Are you not man enough to actually say it? Are you just somebody who wants to write for The Guardian? Can you spell? Because if you can, you won't get a job. Listen to me. He was on RT. He's not denying it. That doesn't mean he's a treasonous piece of scum like Nathan, does it? Or are you the kind of bloke who says, that bloke, he got done for assault or rape even. He's up again. He must be guilty. Let's not bother having a trial. Let's just find him guilty. Not the way to go, is it? Not the way to go. And I'm being straight with you. I worked for Russia Today and Sputnik. And I'm proud of the work I did there. Have a go at me if you fancy. Have a go. I was never told what to say. Farage ain't racist. He's classist, calling us work-shy, scrounging Brits. Why? Why is that classist? It's true. There are a lot of work-shy, scrounging gits in this country. But that's not all he said. It was within a context. Listen, I'm not Nigel Farage's fanboy. I've only recently decided that because everything else is so crap, I'm now going to get behind Farage. I've said this all openly. Don't make out that I'm a Farage fanboy. I'm not. But I share his frustration. I thought what Zia Yousaf, or whatever his name is, said this morning was right. And yesterday, what he said about this. Hollinrake will have to resign. He'll have to go. How can you say a legitimate political party will reform, all their followers are fascists? They're all Nazis. And actually, I thought the shirt was nice. It was a bit like the black shirt that Coventry City have got. Looks good with the logo. Looks fine. Talking of which, did you see the magnificent Sky Blues this weekend? They were brilliant. How many points ahead are we now? 7. We're coming to the Premier. I never doubted. Yeah, I did actually. But anyway, there we go. Let's move on to some other people. Tommy Mason, 7631. I'm tipping £3 on fags on Wednesday. What on earth does that mean? But thank you very much indeed. Oh, he's back again. Who are you going to call? I hope you're going to make some sense in a minute. Going Underground, RT, guest interview criticising the EU institutions and NATO expansion, 2016. Sputnik RT guest interview during Brexit referendum campaign, 2017. What's the point you're making? Have you got this list out of The Guardian? How many times? Russia Today was a legitimate TV and radio station. It's in Millhouse Tower, whatever that, but Millbank Tower. Same as the BBC, same as others. It wasn't against the law to be on Russia Today. It wasn't against the law to be paid by Russia Today. It wasn't against the law to be paid by Sputnik. It wasn't against the law to say some things that were different to the view of the Uni Party. You want to read some of the things I wrote about? It's about being a commentator. See, well, you've just got used to all these people now. Oh, I'm a commentator. You haven't even started to shave, love. You know nothing about politics. I've forgotten more about politics than you'll ever know. You want those kinds of people who just say what you want to hear. You're being led astray by, and you want to put your faith in people like Ed Davey, do you? Oh, it's up to you. Uni Party are running scared, says Tony Hodgkinson on YouTube. You're right. They're petrified about what's happening in this country. That's why they're smearing everybody who's supports, for example, the Pink Ladies. People have had enough. They've had enough of illegal immigration. They want the hotels closed. They want the camps closed. And that's why those people are saying we don't want 600 unaccompanied men of fighting age who we don't even know who they are. I go back to my point. If Keir Starmer could tell us the name and the background of just one person in the next dinghy that turns up at Dover, I will apologise. But he won't be able to. He hasn't got a clue what is let into the country. That doesn't mean that everybody who's coming to the country is a criminal, a terrorist, a rapist, or a sexual offender. But I say the risk is too big. Only look after the people who are genuinely fleeing persecution. Close our borders now. Here's another one. Sir Edward Heath said it would be abhorrent to give the people a referendum on the EU. The other word that you've put on there, unless you can afford it, I would take that word out because that's disgusting. You don't know that's true. You've just read rumours. You don't know that's true. Right. Who you going to call? I'm not even going to bother reading your shit anymore because I know all that and I don't care. good green. What does that mean? Says John Shaw. Surely you're not getting behind that gap-toothed prat, are you? What's his name again? Vacuous idiot. What's his name? You know the one I'm talking about. Oh, he's suddenly become really popular. That's part of the... What's his name? I can't remember. You know what I'm talking about. Zach the Mac. Zach the Knife. Well, let me tell you about him. Why do you think he's getting so much publicity in the mainstream, lamestream, particularly now the BBC media? Because they think they can control him. And that he is knocking the possibility of Farage getting into power. Look at that. It's a great... Do you think Farage looks like the late, great Larry Grayson? He used to live next door to my dad in Nuneaton, or his sisters did. Anyway, I digress. Let's move on. Who you going to call? Oh, he's back again. The desperation is palpable. What are you on about? You mean your desperation? Yes, you're right. Tommy Mason says, hit the like button, please. Yeah, let's get some more likes. We do need them. I'm finishing in a minute, so if you'd like to donate, please do it now. Johnny and Sue say, this complete crap flying around about Reform UK is nothing but dirty tactics. Correct. And desperation from the other parties. Not just the other parties. The media establishment. I must just say, though, one thing. Beth Rigby, did you see? I don't really like her normally, and I've met her. Sly News. I thought her interview with Starmer when he was in, where was he last week? South Africa, in Joburg. I thought she stitched him up like a kipper. Did you see it? If you've not seen it yet, go onto YouTube, put in Sky News, Beth Rigby, Starmer. It's just so funny. You could hear his arse cheeks clinging from here. What's the next thing? It's nothing but dirty tactics and desperation, says Johnny and Sue. I agree. From the other parties who are dropping in the polls. Correct. Absolutely correct. Let's move on. The truth, John, is that democracy is an illusion. Always has been, always will be. I don't necessarily agree with you, but thank you for your comments. It's going to be fun watching the government chasing the immigrants to deport them. They won't be able to do it. I know. The whole thing's a farce. Mark Devon, the entire working classes are considered to be far-right Nazis by the government and the mainstream media. Exactly, Mark. We already know it's like being called a Nazi for talking about the reality of life in England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. Good point. I like it. Thank you very much indeed. Who are you going to call? He won't give up, this kid. He wants to know my view on digital ID. Subscribe to my channel. I'm sure I've done one on that, but I'll do another one soon. I used to be in favour, but do you know what? I changed my mind after COVID because I don't think they could run a piss up in a brewery, let alone a digital ID scheme. And they're trying to con us into it now by saying it'll clamp down on, illegals. No, it won't be about as much use as a chocolate fireguard. Okay, if you like what I'm doing, I'm stopping in a moment. I'm always here at 6:30. I'll be back at 6:30 tonight talking about the BBC. Why don't you tune in then? If you like what I'm doing, please feel free to go to www.buymeacoffee.com/John Gaunt, JONGAUNT, and donate anything that you fancy. Or, dead simple, while I'm on YouTube, you can give me a super sticker or whatever they're called just by clicking the $sign. Just give me a few quid, whatever you fancy. Thank you very much indeed for that. I don't know what this means. 18, A&H, like Combat 18. I don't know what you're trying to say, mate. Say it clearly if you want to. Combat 18, I've got no time for fascists. I've got no time for racists. I've got no time for racism. So are you trying to say something? When you can no longer debate your policies, you resort to petty name-calling. They've reached that point. It's gaslighting, says Paul Rowbottom. You're right. And for those of you who are thinking, well, Gaunty, didn't you get the sack for calling somebody a Nazi? Yes, I did. And you know what? I don't regret calling him it, but in a way, I wish I hadn't, because, see, I hadn't lost the argument. I'd won the argument. I should have shut up 3 lines previously. But the last people to ban, and that was a debate about smoking, fostering kids, and the last people to ban smoking was indeed the Nazis. So I was technically correct. But anyway, They keep telling us, says Red Rock 1907, they keep telling us we need these engineers, these doctors, etc. But what doctors and engineers throw their qualifications and ID in the channel? That is brilliant. Thank you very much indeed for that, Red Rock. And then you never guess what he's done. He's just donated $5 on a super sticker on YouTube by clicking the button, the little dollar sign. Thank you very much indeed. And a very good point as well. Where shall we go next? I tell you what, who you're going to call in a minute, I'm going to ban you because you are prat and you're filling up my chat box because you've said the only interesting thing you know. You've only got one thought in your head, haven't you? Mass immigration and the cost of mass immigration, including the horror it brings with it, including foreign non-dom tax dodging millionaires and billionaires buying their way into UK politics. I think that's a fair criticism and that's perfectly okay to talk about. I think that's a good point you're making. It says here, Ben Habib is the only one calling out what Muslims are doing and have done. I don't think that's true. What about Rupert Lowe? I don't think that's true. I like Ben Habib, by the way. Don't like all of his views, but I like him. I'm for change. I'm on a minimum wage and I'm white English, says Mark Richardson. My partner is Kenyan. There's a picture of him there with her. That's good. How can I get here legally? I want to work hard, as does she. If she can come as my wife. I've got a mate like that in Thailand. He's got married to a woman over there, been married, happy. He's adopted a son. He's not allowed to bring her back to England. There's something wrong with that, isn't there? He's been a taxpayer all his life. It's difficult, isn't it? Mad. It's mad. It's mad. There's no other word for it. But excuse me, you end up in a dinghy at Dover with your flip-flops on, you're straight in. Well, that's how it feels. Whoever calls us Nazis obviously has a low IQ and don't know what Nazis are. Imbeciles, ignore him. At least we have common sense and we know our history. Yeah, that's a good point, actually. That's a good point. That's why I didn't do a whole period. This piece today isn't about Kevin. It's like, Kevin, what an idiot. What a twat. Right? But it's what it means underneath it that I wanted to talk about. Where are we going next? If it's the socialist far left that's ruined everything, and they're the nasty bunch. Now, don't forget, guys, if you want to watch this again, if you're listening at the moment on a podcast, because don't forget it's available on Apple, Spotify, and everything, just go to John Gaunt TV on YouTube, and it'll ask you to subscribe. Don't worry, it's free. Just subscribe, and then you can see all my shows again and the repeats. You'll also then, if you click the bell, you'll get notified when I'm doing extra shows as well. Right, I've got to finish in a minute, lads and lasses. If Reform are Nazis, what the F are Labour? They're the ones who are persecuting the people. Just ask the pensioners with the winter allowance, and the farmers as well, I guess, and the people are being put in prison for what they've said. They're all great points, Chris Birch 139. Thank you for making them. And if you're a new listener, follower, please come back again and join John Gaunt TV on YouTube. UKIP's Nick Tenconi, is their leader, isn't he? Has been consistently active every week, calling out far more than Ben Habib. The UKIP manifesto is the most developed. If everyone unified in the UKIP, we'd have real answers. Yeah, but that ain't going to happen, is it? Because there's too many nutcases in UKIP. I know. I'm sorry. No. John Gaunt, I'm for change. Oh, no, I've just read that one. Sorry. Listen, I'm just trying to get through to the end now and read up a few. Mark Richardson says, John Gaunt, I'll check out John Gaunt TV on YouTube. Thank you very much indeed. Farage flip-flops on mass deportations and then says it's not even an ambition of his, or maybe he sees the rise of Ben Habib advance UK. Now, I think what Nigel Farage said was this constant attack onto the Muslims and, let's get rid of all Muslims. It just won't work. He's trying to get elected now. Anyway, look, that was an interesting conversation. Thank you for joining in. It was a quick fire one I just threw in, although you got 40 minutes. Now, if you're feeling guilty, I've just watched 40 minutes of that and I haven't had to pay. feel free to make a donation. You can do it after the show at www.buymeacoffee.com/John Gaunt, or you can, of course, just now click the little dollar sign and donate a couple of quid, a tenner. Some people donate 100 quid. It all helps me to keep these going, right? I think that was a good show. It's certainly worth some of your cash. What do you think? Thanks, John. Take care. You take care as well, Craig. Jackie Ward's given me 3 red hearts. If you've enjoyed the show, I will probably be back at 6:30 this evening. This is an extra show, depending on what happens with the BBC. I'm off to watch a bit of that now. But if you thought I was wound up about this, wait till you hear me attack the BBC and what they've been up to. Right, that's it. That's me done. Just one thing to say. If you've got kids, give them a kiss. Give them a hug. Hold them hard. And tell them that you love them. My name's John Gaunt. John Gaunt TV on YouTube. See you soon.